Wedged between China and India, Nepal is home to the tallest mountains in the world, including historic Mount Everest. Powerful tectonic forces created these towering Himalayan mountains. It was these same tectonic forces that resulted in the 7.8 magnitude earthquake of 2015 that shook the region, destroying buildings and killing almost 9,000 people. Signs of the earthquake are everywhere. Piles of rubble can be found surrounding buildings which have cracked or collapsed. The damage is estimated at $5 billion. But for the families who lost loved ones, the cost cannot be measured. Nepal is a small country which boasts big contrasts. From the modern streets of Kathmandu to the primitive rural regions just 30 miles away, Nepal's population is extremely diverse. Buddhism and Hinduism are ancient religions born nearby that have dominated the population for centuries. During the 1970s, the Assemblies of God established churches in the midst of great persecution. Congregations began to spring up not only in Kathmandu, but in many villages across the country. Nepal is a poor country, and the churches were built with limited funds and not designed to withstand the powerful forces of a major earthquake. Thus, these congregations did not escape the impact of the earthquake, as they were in the midst of their morning worship services when the earth began to shake. I was standing behind my pulpit during morning worship when suddenly the lights went out and the ground began to shake violently side to side. Suddenly walls gave way and the roof collapsed. I was struck on the head. I grabbed one of my children and went out through a window to safety. Then I climbed back into the rubble of my church in search of my wife and other children. A little girl was screaming for someone to help her mother, who was trapped beneath the rubble. 19 members of my congregation died that day, crushed by the collapse of their own church. Many more of my congregation went to hospital. Some are disabled to this day. We buried 7 of those that died here beneath this marker. His is but one of hundreds of such reports of devastation. Over 1/3 of the 800-plus churches of Nepal suffered damage. Over 200 assemblies of God believers died and thousands were injured. Many of the village churches were completely destroyed and now meet in potentially dangerous temporary structures. Those with the least ability to rebuild are worshipping each week in buildings that will not withstand the next major earthquake.
In Nepal, we can build an earthquake-resistant village church for $10,000. The foundation costs $1,000. The roof costs $3,000, and we can enclose it with strong walls for $6,000. Would you prayerfully consider helping us build a village church in Nepal?
Please help us rebuild churches in Nepal.